meow, 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 meow. I don't know what to say, but yeah. Let's just chill. Excuse me.
Uwian na! Mag-in-drive ka na lang. Pumili ng kotse at driver para sa biyaheng pasok sa budget. InDrive, your budget-friendly rides. I-download na.
Yung all-new Jollibee app, mas madali lang mag-order ng Jollibee favorites mo. Download now!
Nothing like starting Saturday morning with a big pile of boxes. Yeesh Energy has sent me the batteries, case, and stand for DIY 48-volt home battery. This one has some really unique features. I'm looking forward to putting it together and doing some testing. Welcome back to Project with Everyday Dave. Let's get started. This base is a beast. Just amazingly smooth, robust casters.
Come on, how can they see me here?
Box frame.
Frick. Oh, gee, I can believe that one
You guys
hit.
are not messing around. Wow. Got some little feet. Following these notches.
Oh, it's a miss.
I'm liking this setup. Got some latches here.
Oh, gee, got a 1-8 damage.
And then there's latches on the next battery, so you can just stack these up. That's pretty nice.
Oh,
nice
meow,
batteries.
meow, 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 meow.
Double mount. I've actually already run a test on this, and they exceed their rated capacity, so looking forward to building this battery. It's going to be one of the best ones yet.
You know, technically battery is a collective term. Like individual cells make up a
It's like a
battery.
little mini workout. These are not light. We got our 16 cells. We got our case. Let's open it up and put it together. All of the bus bars, spacers, insulators, wiring, everything is contained inside the box. I need to take these bars out of the way so we can get all the components out, and we'll have to take the face off. They're providing EVA foam to put between each of the batteries. Allows you to adjust the space for compression. EVA foam for the
I'm gonna put the live chat on.
insulators and the rest of the components. Nice. Flexible bus bars, happy about that. All the screws for attaching the batteries. And look at that. This is new for a DIY kit. This is a fire suppressor. Now that is exciting. Some covers for the terminals, wiring, communications cables, zip ties, everything we need to put it together. We need to pop the front off so we can get to the compression plate and get the batteries put on. Looks like I have to actually detach this negative bus bar and a couple of cables in order to get this panel off. Alright, there we go, got the face off. Now you can see the BMS mounted right to the back of this plate. I don't think we have to take that off, we'll just remove the pressure plate. Very long bolts for the compression plate. There we go, BMS is removed. Compression plate comes with it. Case is empty. Time to build.
Di sigurado! Sa shopping mall, guaranteed authentic!
Authentic na lagi yung bibilin ko.
Sigurado sa shopping mall!
Before I put the batteries in, I need to make sure that they're all the same voltage. So I'll check that real quick. Perfect. They're all at 3.29. Let's put them in. The structural integrity in this case is really nice. Very solid construction, solid frame all the way around the batteries. This is really well built. You can see the side, has some box channel, the back. It's all framed nicely. Frame down the center to hold the compression plate. Really nice. The first task is to install the insulator. Nice. There's a little sticky tape on the back of it here, so it'll stick to the side. I've really thought of a lot of nice details about this case. First time I've seen built-in sticky tape. There's all the sides nicely taped in place. Protect the ends. Alright, now we can put the batteries in. I've lined all the cells up here in the order they go in, and I'll put it up on the screen here for reference. The banks will be exactly the same, and every cell alternates, plus minus as we go down. We're supposed to put this EVA foam in between each one by sticking it to the cells. I'm not going to stick it on to start with because I want to make sure that the total stack up is appropriate. The reason they can both be identical is the back two rows are connected. So first put in a cell, piece of EVA foam, just repeat that process all the way up to both sides. Be very gentle with the cells, you want to hit them or scratch them. And it looks like there's actually a little bit of margin there. You can see how the plate sits in on the end. I think there's some extra foam that can space it out. Now at the end I'll put in the last piece of foam and our insulators. Looks really close. Just a very slight gap there. There's two more pieces of foam. I think I should have started with
1-7
a piece of foam at the
damages.
very end, so I'll go ahead and slide those
Already
in
makes
the
me
end.
happy.
I think that'll be just about perfect. One piece of foam at the beginning, one piece of foam between each to be able to...
Uwian na! Mag-in-drive ka na lang. Pumili ng kotse at driver para sa biyaheng pasok sa budget. InDrive, your budget-friendly rides. I-download na.
The all-new Jollibee app. Mas madali lang mag-order ng Jollibee favorites mo. Download now!
Oh wow.
check the voltage across every cell.
They're like McDonald's now. They have their own app. Nice.
So you have a sensor wire here and here, and a sensor wire here and here, and a sensor wire here and here. Basically, you're able to check the voltage of every individual cell so that it can be properly load balanced. And this has a 2-amp balancer, so it can actually take energy from one cell and move it to another. With all the sensors set and the main terminal put in position, I'm going to go ahead and torque all of those down so I don't have to come back to them. And if you're doing a professional job, you should mark all of the fasteners that you've torqued with a paint marker. That way you know that you've torqued. Instructions say to set this to 5 to 6 Newton meters. I'll go ahead and set my torque wrench to 6 Newton meters. And then I'm going to do this in a consistent pattern. One entire row at a time, so I make sure your sensor wires, you always want to start them a little ahead of where you anticipate them ending up. You torque it down, it's hard to keep
Real fun, real flames, real flavors. Craving something real? We serve it. Burger King, serving realness. Order now.
If you have to, you can always back it up, start it a little earlier. These PCB board screws weren't entirely tightened, so be sure to go back and check those. I do notice, though, that there's no board trace around them. That's something Andy complained about on his build, and they seem to have fixed it. I think in this assembly, you just assume that every board needs checked. Alright, the main battery's connected. Let's get the BMS connections all made, and then I'll come back and make that final junction at the end. One nice thing, this new build has bus bars, flexible bus bars to everything instead of cables, so that's kind of fun. I'll go ahead and torque these as I go. Most of the bolts on the pre-assembled part have a paint mark on them, showing that they have been, in fact, torqued and marked. However, these ones on the BMS don't have a paint mark on them, so I'm going to check them. Actually, should check them all. And they seem to have been torqued to more than 6 Newton meters, so I'm going to go up here. Right now, we want to connect these two pieces. Now, I know Andy had some issues with his wires not being seated, but mine are all good. No issues there. Seems to have fixed all the problems Andy had by this variation. Then this is our other bus. Double check all of these screws marked, and none of them properly torqued from the supplier. This is a really nice heavy-duty breaker. Happy with that upgrade, actually. Now we're just going to plug in the display board. You really can't mess it up. It's only go over one slot. Just make sure it's really flexible. And the final connection. Find a place to zip tie all that. You know, that's one thing I've noticed with these flexible bus bars. If the bends aren't in exactly the right place, they just don't lay quite right. So while I like the bars in general, they can be a little bit of a hassle when it comes to that. I'm just going to put some temp set screws in here so this isn't wandering all over the place while I'm setting the base plate. Makes me nervous. Same with this guy here. Now this one has a sensor wire and the power for the BMS. The BMS is connected to the negative terminal, but it needs to be connected to the positive terminal because there's no direct connection for power. And that's what this cord is for. And I'm going to have them share this post back here. You might think, oh, I should put one under here and one under here. But remember, I want one connection that is 100% guaranteed solid to the post. That's the advantage of having two posts. And then these sensors can share a post. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and torque these down. Now I just have one final connection to make. That's this massive bus bar that goes across the back of the battery pack. Once I make that connection, we have 52 volts available, so I'm going to do this one.
Uwian na! Mag-in-drive ka na lang. Pumili ng kotse at driver para sa...
I remember one video from the protests. I don't know if that was a protester mocking the cops or it's one cop. Sul-sul pa. Sul-sul pa more. Sul-sul is life. Lol. Ito makakita ng pulo. Just kidding, guys. You know, I'm not a teenager anymore. And, creating chaos will not make my life better.
Yahing pasok sa budget. InDrive, your budget-friendly rides. I-download na.
The all-new Jollibee app. Mas madali nang mag-order ng Jollibee favorites mo. Download now!
Last. Now I should be able to get 52 volts across the whole pack. Let's see what we get. 52.7. Everything is torqued down. I've checked every fastener. All the sensors are in place. The main bus bars are torqued down. BMS power is connected. Alright, the final piece of hardware to install is our fire suppression system. It has a sticker on the back side. Place it about the middle of the case, facing out. And it has an interesting routing system. There's one sensor here next to it, and then this one is supposed to route all the way over here. To route the sensor for the fire extinguisher, I'm going to start at this end. The sensor is supposed to be about the middle of this second bus bar. Gloves are falling apart. There we go. Everything is done and routed. That is really, really nice. Wouldn't mind having just a piece of phenolic to set over top of that. A little insulator board would be convenient, but the lid is quite a ways above. We'd have to impact this very hard to get it to press down, but if there were an insulator board on there, it
What
wouldn't
the
matter.
frick? Cutting it
So
up
that
my
is a really
body.
nice layout. Flexible bars, double mounts, separate mount for sensor, fire extinguisher. I mean, these are very low likelihood for catching on fire, but you know, there's also some security there to have have that in there. I'm actually going to fire up the BMS. So let's get the BMS initiated and make sure everything's working properly. All right, moment of truth. Did we set it up right? Let's see. Man, that's a nice breaker. Nice! Powered right up. I love it when things work the first time because that doesn't always happen. All right, well, everything's functioning. We have our 52 plus volts across the main terminals. The BMS power's on. We've checked the torque for everything. The fire suppressor's installed. Everything's good to go. So I can go ahead and put the lid on, fasten the rest of these screws, and then let's go through the BMS settings, get it set up, and then we'll run some capacity tests and power the house with it. Let's do it. Normally on something like this, you'd temp set them all and come back and tighten them, but the alignment is so perfect I can just shoot them all straight in. It'd be nice if there were some little plugs we could put in these holes since we don't have a battery stacked on top of it. That way you don't get dust or debris down inside there. Test, and then we'll do some testing with it. As I mentioned in the beginning, I ran a capacity test on these 314 amp hour cells that Yisheng sent me for this build. Here is the code for the one that I tested. They're E314 amp hour MB31 lithium iron phosphate cells. And the results were fantastic. You can see from this chart, I charged the battery to 3.65 volts, let it sit for 30 minutes, then discharged it at 40 amps down to 2.5 volts, and that resulted in a capacity of 325.5 amp hours, well over the 314 amp hour rating. After the capacity test, I charged the battery back up to 3.29 volts to match the rest of the cells for our assembly. That's over 1 kilowatt hour per cell, or 16.67 kilowatt hours for this entire pack. That's more than 3 100 amp hour server rack batteries combined. Because of that overcapacity, I can use a full 15 kilowatt hours from this battery, and I don't even have to push it all the way to its limit for charge and discharge voltages. And that's going to increase the overall life of the battery pack. For our real-world test, I'm using my EG4 12K PV. I bought this from Signature Solar almost a year ago to expand my system, and I have had no issues since I installed it. It's spring, and this time of year on a sunny day, it will produce 60 kilowatt hours of energy, enough to charge 3 of these batteries. You can get a $50 discount at Signature Solar using my exclusive discount code in the description below. I've connected this battery using 2-aught cables and this ground wire I've used to bond the case to the inverter and the rest of my system. There's no need to connect the Ethernet cable in this case. There's not an official communication protocol that allows the inverter to talk to a JK-BMS. I've heard that there's been some success using the lithium setting with protocol number 6, but I didn't get it to work for me. If you know how to do it, let us know in the comments below. Either way, that's not going to be a problem because I can use the user setting mode. And these settings should be basically the same for the 12K PV or an 18K PV. I have a lot of extra cabling going on here that would actually be necessary because I wanted to include my Victron shunt within the circuit so I can monitor with a couple of different sources what's actually happening. And then the battery cables are just connected to battery in. There's a separate breaker to turn this on and off, which is really nice. I can turn it off here at the inverter, or because we have that really nice breaker on the battery, I can turn it off there. If you want to see how to set up this inverter, I have a whole video on setting it up and doing all the settings to get it to run for an on-grid or off-grid setup. Not being able to use communication between the inverter and battery won't be a problem because I can use the user setting mode. These settings should be basically the same whether using a 12K PV or an 18K PV. On the page, I click on maintenance, then old settings page, then read in the current value. If I were installing a battery with established communication, I would select lithium and the corresponding communication protocol. For any other lithium iron phosphate battery, I can use the user mode. It's labeled lead acid in the setup menu, but you can use it for any custom profile. When you click the set mode, the inverter will restart, so be prepared for that. This is a good time to talk about voltage settings. At the battery module level, we want to set the JK-BMS to the specified setting for your particular cell. I want to use the maximum charge and the minimum discharge voltage because the BMS is there to protect the battery from overcharge or over discharge. But I don't want it to interfere with my day-to-day operation at the inverter level. This chart combines the battery specs for reference with my actual settings in the inverter. The cell column is the value for an individual cell, and the battery column is just the cell column times 16, since our entire battery assembly is all the batteries in series. My tested capacity was actually 325 amp hours, so I'll enter that in the capacity line. The spec sheet calls out an end of charge voltage of 3.65 volts, which is what we set the maximum voltage in the BMS. For the battery pack, this is the absorb voltage, and I will set that to 56.2 volts, which is an equivalent of about 3.5 volts at the cell level. On the battery charging curve, you can see that this is well above the flat part of the charge curve and below the maximum setting in the BMS. Running at the extremes of the curve reduces battery life. We accomplish two things with this setting. We increase the battery life, and we keep the inverter in charge of the charge cycle. You might be concerned about not using the full capacity of the battery, but there's actually very little capacity at the tail end of the charging curve. I think you'll see when we run the test that we're able to use most of the battery capacity with these settings. And you might think, well, if lower's better, why not reduce the charge voltage even more? The problem is lithium iron phosphate has a very flat charge curve, and if you don't get above that flat line portion of the curve, the cells will never balance. And then you'll have one cell constantly getting stressed more than the others. So it's very important to have a high enough charge voltage and to take that on a regular basis so the cells can balance out. We set the float voltage to 50 volts so that once the battery is fully charged, it won't hold it at that higher voltage or constantly run a charge cycle. That's still above the balance voltage set in the BMS, so if any cells are mismatched, the BMS can continue to balance them while it's floating. Dropping down to the charge settings, we'll be using voltage instead of state of charge, since we don't have communication. I set the charge current limit to 162 amps, which is about 0.5 C for these batteries. In my case, I have AC charge disabled, so I will only charge from solar. In backup mode, I've enabled PV charge priority and set the limit to 8 kilowatts, which is about 0.5 C for these cells. Charging faster than 0.5 C is allowed for these cells, but if we stay at or below 0.5 C, it will increase their lifespan. So in the PV charge settings, I just set my inverter max charge voltage of 56.2 volts, and we're done with charge settings. For the discharge setting, I will once again use voltage instead of state of charge. I set the charge current limit to 162 amps for this inverter, and we'll use the end of discharge voltage from our chart. I have my BMS set to the minimum at 2.5 volts. But you can see there's no real capacity left past 3 volts. So I can set the pack at a minimum of 48 volts to reduce the stress on the battery, and I'll still be able to use at least 95% of the capacity. And that's all the settings. Now that the battery is fully charged, I can enable a forced discharge from 56.2 volts down to 48 volts, and we'll see what the usable capacity range is. Since I have my battery connected through the Victron shunt, I'll have lots of monitoring capability to see how the battery performs. I ran the discharge at 4 kilowatts and it took several hours. I had some fluctuation in the charge rate as the sun was coming up. I updated the firmware and I think that's resolved the problem. Once the sun came out, it did smooth out. I stopped the test as soon as we hit 48 volts. And it probably hit that a little bit early since we were pulling 4 kilowatts at the time it hit 48 volts, but this is real world testing, right? The Victron shunt shows 305 amp hours or 15.7 kilowatt hours discharged, just shy of the 16 kilowatt hour full capacity. The BMS shows a cycle capacity a little bit higher at 311 amp hours, which is even closer to the full capacity. So with a couple different sources, you can see we'll get more than 15 kilowatt hours using these settings. And you can also see how just a slight adjustment in the max charge voltage and minimum discharge voltage will allow us to utilize 95% of the battery capacity while dramatically reducing the cycle stress on the battery. Now, just for fun, let's push the limits a little bit. If I want to charge my car, it takes about 8 kilowatts or the maximum output of this inverter. If I was using a server rack battery, I would need multiple batteries in order to achieve that level of discharge current. But this pack has a 200 amp BMS, so it should be able to support up to 10 kilowatts. To simulate the car charging, I'll set the forced discharge to 8 kilowatts, and let's see what happens. Alright, the fans are howling because I have this thing maxed out at 8,000 watts. Battery says I'm pulling 167 amps. Victron shunt says I'm pulling 160 amps. We can look at this data a whole bunch of different ways. I have the EG4 that shows we're pulling 4,000 watts from the battery and subbing that out. The highest because that's the source load, and it's at 167 amps, which is still well below its 200 amp max. And that's the most this inverter can pull. You can see the cells are all very well balanced. I can also grab my clamp meter, and it's showing 171 amps. You can even see it on the display. And it's a touch screen, so you can go through and see every cell in its situation. no alarms, and then the main status page. I really like having this display on here. Use the infrared camera here to take a look at what's getting hot. Right at the entrance here, we're getting a little bit warm. But not too bad. I have one 1-aught cable in there on my little test bench that's getting warm. Let's look inside the inverter. No significant hot spots in there. Hasn't even reached 100 degrees yet. Let's look inside the case. Make sure all our connections are good. The battery pack itself looks really good. Nothing's even reached 100 degrees in here. Everything is a nice, even temperature. There's no hot spots, so that tells me everything's been properly bolted. The hottest thing in here is the bus bars, and they're barely over 100 degrees. BMS itself. Get in there. Still just over 100 degrees. 113 degrees, the hottest thing I can find. 115. Nice.
Wir haben sie böse erwischt. Noch so einer und die sind fertig.
Cable is
Kette beschädigt.
light.
Der ging voll durch ihre Panzerung.
This build did not disappoint. I really like the case construction and the optional base with casters. I like the built-in breaker and the completely customizable stacked balancer. I really like the double bolt battery connections, and whether you think it's necessary or not, I like having the fire extinguisher. As usual, I'll leave links and any discount codes that I can provide in the description below on my website or projectswithdave.com, where you can also find all kinds of other helpful resources.
Just use while charging. Wonder if it's true.
Hi, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're doing another product review. Flashfish sent me a portable power bank to try out and to share with you guys. So we're gonna test this out, we're gonna unbox it, and we're gonna check it out. But do you guys remember when I first started my channel and Flashfish sent me this power bank to try out, and it's still working? This is like 3 years later, and this thing has come in so handy. And huge shout out to Flashfish when I was a smaller channel, sending me this to test out. Let's open up the new one and see what this one is like. All right. Instruction booklet. Cables. Look at how small that is. It's not orange anymore. It's got a nice handle, just like you saw on lunchboxes. Flashfish portable power station, 222 watt hours, AC output 110 volts, DC output 15 volts. All right, looks like it's got 3 USB, 2 barrel ports. Let's turn it on and see if it's got any power. Nice bright display. It's got the lines. Let's see if it's got the numbers. You guys know I like the numbers. Take that off of there. You guys know I like those numbers. I don't know if it came on or not. AC output. Might not come on. AC power. DC input. All right, guys, let's check this out. I'm going to test it, and I'll get back with you guys. All right, before we test it out, I opened up the cord package, and look at this. It's a USB, and it looks like it's maybe a light. Let's plug this in.
$40,000 mga lang.
Auf geht's!
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Bill, that expat prepper living in the Philippines. Today I want to talk about a device I picked up a little over a month ago. And it's dirty, so you can tell I've been using it. I picked up the 1,000 kilowatt Flashfish Solar Gen. Now I picked up an older version that was greatly discounted. The price will be right here. So, a couple things. This is the largest Solar Gen battery box I have to date, and I've been using it 24/7 on a different project, different site. So it has come in handy. It lasts me about 30 hours between charges, running standard fans and some other things. Now the thing I do like about this, the very first thing I liked, it was the price. The second thing I like is the size in the box. The box is, I carry this thing around a lot. The box is strong, sturdy, easy to carry, it's comfortable. I enjoy moving it around better than I do just a raw battery. Comes with 4 AC ports. These are outputs, 240 pure sine wave, so it says a ton of USB ports across front, from Type C's to fast charging. It's got your DC outputs. It's got your solar input. Now it's got the new Anderson here as well as a DC input. Now this DC input uses this box here. It's a brick. And basically what it is it will take 100 to 240 volts, which is great because I do have some 110 volt inverters that I'm going to tie off on my solar system so I can have both. So this will be able to charge from that 110 one. I don't have a lot of other 110 stuff out here. And it outputs at 25.2 volts. So it's still a DC charger. Maybe not the most efficient. If I want DC to DC, it's better. But it does come with this. And it's 110 to 240, so I like that. What it doesn't have is it doesn't have a flashlight anywhere. Now this only has 1 bar charge on it because I got to get it up, get charging going. There's no built-in LED light, which you would expect to see. There's no plugs to protect it from the water. And the reality is it will get water in the fan if it's raining. It says it's for outdoor use. I won't put it outdoors other than maybe to charge it with a solar panel or something like that. And that's the box as it is. Comment down below if you let me know if at that price point you think I did good. I picked it up because I wanted a larger battery for short-term projects and stuff I'm working on. And again, it was cheap. Flatfish, who knows? There's so many of these brands out here. I did pair it with this generic 240 watt, supposedly 4-panel solar panel. You'll see that here in a moment. But another thing I noticed, and I'm going to show this video clip here in about 5 seconds, but while I'm charging this, the AC doesn't work. So there is no passive charging. So what we meaning to say is I can run things on the AC on the battery, but if I plug it in to charge at the same time, the AC ports no longer work. And for the case I used in the video you're about to see, it's fine because it's there for blackout purposes only. So watch that video and then stick around after that. We'll talk more about charging this guy up. Stand by. Let's show you how this is going to work. If I turn the AC on, it's not going to run the fan because it's getting power right now. So if I unplug the power, push the AC. This fan comes on. Now this fan is 160 watts, it's a 220, 240 watt fan. But as soon as I plug the power in, the fan stops. Meaning to say, quite simply, there is no pass-through charging and using. So that's good to know.
Oh man.
All right, so it's slowly charging. This Flashfish box says it will take 24 to 50 volts, max 200 input. What I want to do is I want to disconnect this for a second. We got 1 bar after several hours. I am going to plug this into my Bluetti while I have optimal sun here. Let's see, what adapter am I going to need here? Now my Bluetti is full, or it's 97% charge. All right, so watts, it's climbing up there. I'm at 51, 53. Now this Blue Eddy will take also up to 200 watts. The specs will be posted here. 63 watts, 88 watts, 97 watts. I went from 97% to 98% real quick. So the solar panel will also, the solar panels will regulate as well. So it looks like I'm getting 99 watts direct sunlight on a 220 watt panel. I'm not sure if the test is positive because this battery is mostly full, so it's probably not drawing too much there. But I just wanted to see if I can get a good reading from this guy. Yeah, 100 watts. All right, so I'm gonna pull that out. I'm gonna plug this guy back in here and let it continue to charge.
Welcome back everyone, Adzi here, and we're in the armory again. Today, the lovely people at T238 have sent me one of their brushless motors. And they've asked me to have a little look at it, make a video on it, put it in something, and test it. So I thought we'd have a little look together. Now, obviously this is the box it comes in. Nice and simple, dead easy. Says exactly what it is, I suppose. One of the things they did ask me to highlight, though, on this, is this top bit. And that you shouldn't use other brand ETUs for this. You're only allowed to use theirs. And even then, you're not allowed to have things like the active brake and everything like that set. So, with that all out of the way, let's open this little box and see what we have inside.
Which it picked up right away. Now, it doesn't tell me what rate it's charging at. Like I said, this is a feature that newer devices have. All right, I will be back shortly. Stand by. All right. It is high noon, and I'm about to lose optimal sun on this patio. I didn't want to take it up on the roof and let it charge all the time. So I got just under 4 hours of solar charging into this box. And I don't know if you can see, but only one bar is highlighted here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack this up and put it on the AC charge input because I need the battery box charged by 5. So, yeah, I'll talk more about that in 2 seconds. All right, so I packed it back up and I'm back here in the room here. The box is hot from sitting in the sun, extremely warm. And this is one of the complaints I have about most of these solar panels is they only come with like a 3-foot cord. So whatever you're charging needs to be outdoors elements as well. And regarding this flash fish device, it says it's an outdoor unit, but it really isn't protected from the weather. There's no plugs that came with this by default. I'm assuming you can get them in the kit afterwards. Let me talk about the solar panel real quick. I did like this panel. I was only able to see 100 watts on the Blue Eddy, but that might be a limitation of the Blue Eddy. I like it a lot because it does come with a plethora, I'll use a big word here, of input types. So it will charge multiple different kinds of devices. I think that's pretty cool. It's got the little standard USB ports in there as well. Sturdy case, these legs held up well in the sun. So it was able to stand at angles. I like that as well. It's a rugged one. It's got a nice little carry handle here that has a magnetic grip that will snap there and hold that together. So that's kind of cool too. All right, guys. So this is the limited yet real-world review of this flash fish kilowatt solar gen. Comment down below if you have this device. Let me know. I bought this mainly because of the price point. It was on such a great sale, as I showed you earlier in the video. And let me know if you think it was a good buy, I'm a little disappointed that it's lacking some of the features that these newer boxes have, but I'm really happy that I got a solid, good box that will last quite a while. All right, guys, until next time, be safe.
Auf geht's! Volltreffer! Noch so einer und Sie sind
680 damage block.
Fahrzeug zerstört! Бой начинается. Гусеницы повреждены. Шанс
OMG in 80 damage block. Imagine if I took that damage.
Wir haben sie böse erwischt.
50-50 on this.
Let's go!
I'm really grinding. I don't usually finish all of them, no. Especially when I have work. Tomorrow I think I'm gonna go do the grocery and then let's see if I'm gonna stream or not. I have work. Gotta go to work tomorrow. I mean, yeah, work from home.
Бой начинается.
I'm gonna to myself, don't look for prestige, look for practicality. That's for myself. Let's go, Genshin. Ay, naku.
You're in for a little shock.
Out of the way! Drop your weapons!
Let's spark.
Final warning! You asked for it! You're toast! Nice and spicy! I'm going in! Let's light it up!
My. You've been a naughty.
Booba, get... Let's light it up! Nice and spicy! Off we go! Yeah. Teamwork is dreamwork!
Blitz. Surrendering.
Eat this! At the frying pan, Justice will... Let's light it up! Everybody stand...
You.
Adventure time! Nice and spicy!
Let's spark things.
Stand down! Final warning! This can't be the end. I'm going in!
Don't be such a brute.
Let's light it up! Drop your weapons! Booba, get them! Eat this! Out of the frying pan, Booba, get them!
I'm just abusing this one.
Try not to.
Hands where I can see them! Teamwork is dreamwork! Nice and spicy! You're toast! Booba, get them! Oh. Stop right there! I'm going in! Nice and... Justice will prevail! Final warning! Let's light it up! Hey, stop! I'm the prize!
Surrendering.
Shouldn't have done
Drop
that.
your weapons!
Nope, sorry about that. You know, I think my company is looking for more people. I don't think
You're in for a little
the
shock.
recruitment knows that I'm already lol. So everyone leaving.
Final warning! Everybody stand back!
Come a little closer. You've been enough.
You're toast!
Try not to.
You asked for it! Stop right there! Stand down! Final warning! Drop your weapons! I'm the frying pan! I'm going in! Stop right there! Booba, get them!
You're in for a little shock. Let's spark.
Hands running!
Come a little closer. Blitz.
Teamwork is dreamwork! Final warning!
Don't be such a brute. Surrendering.
Let's light it up! Eat this!
Man, I wish I had more. But I don't really need them right now. I mean, it's not Yelan's banner. But it's the Wanderer though. It's my husband. Lol. Look how long her hair is. Damn.
Add Ash.
OMG, it's not 1,000 Primo Gems. Ay, hindi pala. Come on. Come on, Wanderer. Give me the Wanderer. No, I wish I've been grinding this, no. Okay, let's try. At least I get the other stuff. Meow 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 meow. You know, I didn't read what he was saying, I just kept on clicking and pressing.
Up. Mora waits for no one. Gonna be epic. Out of the frying pan.
It comes the hunting. Freeze! Freeze!
Boba, get them.
Freeze! Freeze!
Let's spark.
Freeze!
Let's get down to business.
Freeze!
Off we go.
Finally, No.
Light it up! Off we go! Everybody stand back!
Don't be a killjoy. We've only just begun.
Come a little closer.
Well done. You can't run. Looks like I went too far.
Let's light it up!
Well done. Freshness.
No ingredients for me today!
You need to hurry up.
Here's the goods! Boba,
This
get
was
them!
well done. Take cover. You need to hurry up.
I'm going in!
Roast and fry. This is trouble. This way.
was well done.
Nice and sinners gonna burn. More?
This was well done.
Get you. Hup, hup, yeah. Yes.
Cook this through.
Meow, 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 meow.
Magic lamp. Let's light it up! Why do they never miss? Get out of here!
Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Boba, get them! Shazam!
Yeah, that's it for the gaming engine.
Ten seconds remaining.
I'm gonna pick a hero, then I'm gonna
5
go
seconds
to the
remaining.
bathroom real quick. Of course, it's my favorite. Okay, bathroom break.
Prepare for battle.
Peons.
Yes. I will. My will. Passing.
30 seconds to battle.
Death marches. Nice. Yes.
The battle begins.
Whoa!
Why am I surrounded by such peons?
Shambling. Again. My stuff. I'm under attack. Yes.
Why am I surrounded by such peons?
Life goes on. The dirge goes on. No life left. Rotting. My against the living. Yes. Yes. Beware. My will.
Aray ko. That's pretty funny.
Why am I surrounded by such peons?
Thanks.
Marches. Passing. The dead endure. Light. Why am I surrounded by such peons? Death marches. My will. Yes. My stomach rumbles. Yes. They take Why am I surrounded by such peons? Under attack. I will perish. Why am I surrounded by such peons? Life dwindles. The dirge goes on.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
Attack!
Radiant's turret has been killed. Your bottom tower is under attack.
The vile dead.
Radiant's courier has been killed. Your bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire structures are fortified. Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower has fallen.
Why am I surrounded by such peons? Things. I'm under attack. Yes.
You deserve that.
Undead again. Attack!
Your middle tower is under attack.
What was I looking at earlier? Excuse me. I think flash fish is more expensive than PB solar. But of course flash fish is more well known based on the reviews I've seen. The others get cut off when they start charging it. Like they can't use it while charging, no?
Yes.
What the frick?
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I guess flash fish is more prestigious. So it's more expensive. And it has a good track record. That's just 1/4. And then the price is like 1/2.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Dirt goes on. My stomach rumbles. Hunger. Decay. Oh.
You know, I'm thinking about getting another one so that I can power my my company monitor. Save a bit of money on the electric bill.
Your top tower is under attack.
Just a little bit, not much.
Your top
I mean, it's not like I can power my So that I can power the CPU.
Tower has fallen.
A flash of inspiration.
It's not like I can power the CPU using the... what do you call this? Power station. And I'm more leaning towards setup. Something with a battery.
Come to die.
To have found power.
Hungry. No mercy. Yes.
Killing spree.
The dead endure. The vile dead. Yes. Shambling. Life ends. Blade mail. Yes. The dead endure. My will.
Never refuse gold given.
I'm under attack. Tread lightly.
You weren't so damn dead, I'd shoot you again.
12 amp hour plus 2. I mean times 2. That's pretty expensive. Okay, that's half. Wait, that's more than half. That's not proportionate to what I paid for last time, so I'm not. There's no way I'm gonna get that money.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Don't they just offer like the setup and then without the battery? 100 amp. This thing is sensitive.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
The dirge goes on. Beware the restless dead.
Your top tower is under attack.
I will.
Long live the queen! Why am I surrounded by heroes?
Yes. A flash of inspiration.
That's exact. Goodness.
Passing. Yes. The dead are here.
Mabawi. 12 volt. You know, how hypothetically if I got this and then they got battery, They don't have a standalone battery.
Whoa! I will hunger.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower has fallen.
Frick.
No heavens, only this. Passing.
They don't have a battery on me.
Light. So rip. My will. The dead endure. Yes.
I want something that can power my, at least the...
Your top tower is under attack.
Flesh. Souls shut.
at least the monitor. Amp hour. That's not very big. $314. Oh wow. I'm beginning to wonder if that's accurate.
Hungry.
You know, after the stream, I think I'm gonna listen to music. I'm doing an awful lot of distraction to myself, am I not? No. This is better than going out and drinking, like I used to do before. Going out or like drinking here alone.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen. $100 milliamp hour. And that's
That's what matters to me. The capacity, not how much power it can put out.
My stomach.
Your top tower has fallen. Dire structures are fortified.
I just put that here for reference. A charge controller. I wonder if that works with 24 volts.
Radiant structures are fortified.
You don't wanna have to ask them, no? I think it would be a freaking waste of their time for me to ask. I'm gonna research na lang.
Rotting.
Let's just get we don't need that. We don't need that one with a freaking Bluetooth.
Yes.
100 milliamp hour. Oh, that's way below what I have for my standard, but it's viable.
Why am I surrounded by such peons?
My will. My will. Shambling. The dirge goes on. My stomach. The dead endure.
You know, I think the Bluetooth will just make it harder. It's gonna drain the battery, I think.
In this video, I'll do an introduction guide to building your own DIY solar setup. If you're trying to understand and learn this for the very first time, this video is for you. I'm not going to overburden you with technical terms, but rather provide a high-level overview while still showing the step-by-step process of assembling everything that I believe anyone can perform. The advantage of learning how to build one of these is that you easily can customize your setup, modify it in the future as your needs change, and most importantly, develop an important skill set. So let me start off by giving you a quick overview to explain how the system works. There are 4 primary components. Solar panels collect energy from the sun and then pass the energy via cables to what's called the charge controller. The charge controller regulates the energy from the solar panels that it then passes to the battery where the energy is stored. In order to get the energy out of the battery, we need to convert it to usable electricity through a device called an inverter. This is the device that we plug into items that we want to power, such as your phones, laptops, or refrigerators. As far as connecting all of these components, there are 3 primary sets of cables that you can purchase that already have the proper connectors on the ends and are set up to be used in this system. cables to connect the charge controller to the battery, cables to connect the battery to the inverter, cables to connect the solar panel to the charge controller. We will cover a few other miscellaneous items throughout this video, but at the core, that's it. As far as tools go, here's what you'll need. Phillips screwdriver, large and small, crescent wrench or socket wrenches. Needle nose pliers will also come in handy. Step 1. Connecting the charge controller to the battery. Let's grab our battery, charge controller, cables to connect our battery, and our small Phillips screwdriver. Please do this step before connecting the solar panels to the charge controller, as it will damage the charge controller without first connecting to the battery. If you look at this charge controller, and this is common amongst most of these devices, you'll have 6 places to plug in cables. On this one you'll see 2 holes with PV plus and PV minus. PV simply means photovoltaic. This is where we'll connect solar later. The next 2 holes are what we're interested in at this step, BAT plus and BAT minus. This is where we'll connect the cables from the charge controller to, you guessed it, the battery. The last 2 holes are load, which we don't cover in this video. Let's grab our cables to connect the charge controller to the battery. These particular cables have lugs on one end that will connect to the battery, and the other ends are stripped, which will connect to the charge controller. You will notice that these cables are both black, so you need to pay special attention to these when connecting them to the battery in order to keep the positive and negative connections correct. Okay, let's connect our 2 cables to the charge controller by inserting the stripped ends of the cables into the charge controller. Use your Phillips screwdriver and turn counterclockwise on both the BAT plus and BAT minus terminals, which opens the connector.
Yes. Okay. The dirge goes on.
Then, we'll take our 2 cable ends, which are stripped, and slide them in one at a time to the terminal. As we slide each end, we'll tighten the screw down, turning clockwise. You want to tighten these firmly to avoid the cables coming out. Be sure to test by giving a light pull on the cables to ensure that they do not slip out. Next, we'll connect the cables to the battery. To do this, first we'll unscrew the bolts in our batteries.
The dirge goes on.
Next, we'll take the negative cable and connect it to the first battery. Now before you do this, double and triple check that the negative cable is connected to the BAT minus connector on your charge controller. I then place a negative cable lug to the negative battery post and insert the bolt, tightening it down. I won't tighten it overly tight at this point, as we're going to add the inverter cable later. Finger tight at this point is fine. Now, I'll connect the positive cable to the battery using the same approach as with the negative cable. Again, let's just finger tighten down the nut. Now that we have the charge controller connected, you'll notice the charge controller screen is turned on. You can go through it at this time and configure settings based on your model. I found this particular model is easier to configure with their app than using the interface options on the charge controller itself, but do whatever's easiest for you. There are 2 primary settings that you're going to want to configure. You'll want to define the battery type that you're connected to. In this case, we're connected to a lithium battery. Next, we want to define whether we're connected to a 12 or 24 volt battery. In this case, we're connected to a 12 volt battery. This charge controller comes with a temperature sensor which can easily be plugged in. If you buy a charge controller without one, it is highly recommended that you purchase this to monitor the temperature of where you store your batteries. Additionally, this charge controller has an optional Bluetooth module that you can connect that allows you to observe the information of the charge controller through your app. This completes step 1. Step 2, connecting the charge controller to a solar panel. For this step, we're going to grab our 100-watt solar panel. You can add more panels, but for simplicity's sake, we'll stick with 1 panel in this video. And extension cables with MC4 connectors on one end that are stripped on the other end. For this step, you'll need just a small Phillips screwdriver. During the process of connecting the cables, it is important to observe the plus and minus signs on these cables that come off the solar panels when connecting to the charge controller. In order to go from the cables on the solar panels to your charge controller, you'll need the extension cables with MC4 connectors on one end and are stripped on the other end. Okay, I'll keep the solar panel out of the sun for now. connect our extension cable to the cables coming off the solar panels that will run to the charge controller. I have 2 black cables, and that's fine, but just be careful to keep track of which is positive and which is negative. Even adding a small piece of tape on one end right at the plus or minus sign might help a bit to keep things straight. Now, with the stripped end of the cables, I'll start with the negative end and insert it into my charge controller. Give it a slight tug to ensure it does not come out. Next, insert the positive cable into the PV plus connection and tighten it down. Remember, we have 2 holes in our charge controller marked PV minus and PV plus. Again, PV is short for photovoltaic power, which is the power coming in from our solar panel. Now, let's put our solar panel into the sun and see what happens. So now our solar panel is in the sun and we're connected. As you can see on the front of the charge controller, we're showing a charge coming in. Now we're officially charging our battery. With this setup, I can view this information on my app as well, along with information on how charged the battery is. So now we're harvesting power from the sun and storing it in a battery to be used later to power appliances and devices. That's pretty cool, right? So up to this point in the video, we have confirmed our solar panel, our charge controller, and battery setup work. Now we're going to move forward in our final step to pulling power from the battery. This completes step 2. Step 3, connecting the battery to an inverter. Before we proceed to this step, we need to bring in the solar panel disconnected. When working with this system, we don't want to interact with our setup when actively pulling power from the solar panels. To do this, we'll simply disconnect the cables from the solar panels connected to the PV plus and PV minus connections on the charge controller. We're also going to disconnect our charge controller from the battery. To do this, unscrew the positive bolt first on the battery and remove the positive charge controller cable. Next, unscrew the negative bolt on the battery and also remove the negative charge controller cable. Now that we've disconnected our solar panel and charge controller from the battery, let's connect our inverter to the battery. To do this, let's first connect our cable to the inverter first, not the battery first. To do this, connect the positive inverter cable to the positive inverter post, and then connect the negative inverter cable to the negative post on the inverter.
Solid.
Now we're ready to connect the inverter to the battery. But before we do this, it is recommended that we put a fuse on our positive inverter cable. I have a 2000 watt inverter, so 175 to a 200 amp fuse works just fine. I'll post a link below where I purchased mine. When connecting the fuse to the positive inverter cable, be sure that the fuse is flush with the lug. Make sure that there's no washer in between the inverter cable and the fuse. Now, bring the negative cable from the inverter and connect it to the battery. Then, using the bolt on the cable that connects the fuse to the cable, place it on the positive battery terminal. It's going to spark, but this is to be expected. Now let's finger tighten these bolts down to allow us to test this out. We'll tighten it much tighter momentarily when we add the charge controller back on. We have completed the connection of the inverter to the battery. We can plug in devices and appliances and power them as shown here. Earlier we disconnected the charge controller, but we'll add it back now. We're basically just repeating step 1 at this point. I'll begin by removing the inverter from the positive terminal, negative terminal of the battery. Bring the negative cable from the charge controller and connect it to the negative post of the battery, along with the lug connecting the negative cable to the inverter and tighten down the bolt with a wrench.
Let's roll.
Next, I'll bring the positive cable from the charge controller and add it to the positive post on the battery along with the lug from the cable connecting to the inverter. Again, I'll tighten this down with a wrench. It's important to note that when tightening the lugs on cables to the batteries that there's no washer in between the battery post and the lugs on the end of the cables. You want these lugs flush on the battery post. We do want the washers on top of the lugs, pushing them down to the battery post though. Finally, we'll connect the solar panel back to the charge controller. Connect the negative cable first.
The all-new Jollibee app. Mas madali nang mag-order ng Jollibee favorites mo. Download now!
Meow meow.
These are the reasons why your battery doesn't last all night.
Meow meow.
Reason number one is that your battery bank is too small. Now, when the capacity of your battery bank is too small, it will not be able to hold enough energy. It will not be able to store enough energy during the day when the sun is available. So at night, there's no sun. When you connect your loads to the battery bank, it will not be able to sustain those loads. Why? Because it is too small. The amount of energy that was stored in the battery bank was not enough to, carry your loads throughout the night. Why? Because the capacity of the battery bank is too small. So when a battery bank is too small to sustain your loads when the sun is not available at night, the battery bank will surely run down when your consumption is higher than what is stored in the battery bank. Reason number two is that you are using too many appliances at night. When too many appliances are connected to the battery bank at night, the battery bank will not be able to sustain those loads. It's like you have a reservoir, you have an overhead tank.
Sorry.
And it is filled with water. Now this is the outlet pipe. And so many households are connected to this outlet pipe. They are making use of this the water in this reservoir. So when their consumption is higher than the volume of water that is stored in this reservoir, and there is no source, there is no input source, that is, there's no pump that is pumping in water to this reservoir while they are using the reservoir. So this reservoir, the water in this reservoir will finish, it will be drained faster. Why? Because so many outlets are connected to this reservoir. So for you to make sure that this reservoir will be able to sustain this household or this outlet, you need to have a very large water tank or water reservoir that will be able to sustain this household. Now, if you have a battery, this is your battery.
Sorry, what? I'm listening to it.
谁在直播？我把他打趴下。我们这边的。
Positive and negative, and your inverter is connected to this battery, and there are a lot of AC loads or DC loads that are connected, that are taking power from this battery bank at night. Remember, at night there is no sun, there is no input. The sun is not there to generate, the solar panels are not there to push in energy into this battery bank. So everything you are taking from this battery bank or your load solely depends on what is stored in this battery bank. So when you have many appliances, refrigerator, air condition, you have your televisions, you have your ceiling fans, you have your standing fans, a lot of appliances, you connect them to this battery bank, it will drain fast when it is not large enough to sustain this load. So that is why when you are designing your solar system, you should take note or take care of the appliances that you will be powering or you will be using at night, because
Meow, 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 meow.
Này, sao bay ở ta lỗ tẻ?
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow.
我来看看逼怎么回事儿。
你在说什么？你说什么？
有狙，听到。
어떻게 질러?
Decoy. Incendiary out. Flashbang.
at night there is no sun. Your solar panels are lying idle. They are dormant. They are not generating anything. So you cannot rely on them at night because the sun is not there. So you see a lot of adverts, or a lot of people will tell you you can use 5 kilowatt hour with your 2 air conditioners. You can use 10 kilowatt hour with your 3 air conditioners or whatever. So these things, when they are not properly designed, when your battery bank is not properly sized to sustain the load you'll be using at night when the sun is not available, once you connect these appliances to the battery bank at night, it will surely shut down. Why? It cannot sustain this load. Reason number 3 is that your batteries are aging or poorly maintained. Mostly lead acid batteries, when they are aging, when they are poorly maintained, you need to top water, you need to clean them, you need to do 1 or 2 maintenance. When you are not carrying out routine maintenance on the batteries, times they will be failing at night when you connect your loads to the battery. Then also when your batteries are aging, when they are aging, they will not be able to store energy. Their capacity, their ability to store energy will be greatly reduced. So when the solar panels generate energy during the day and push it to the battery bank, it will not be able to hold that energy. It will not be able to sustain that energy. So at night, when you switch on your load and you are expecting the battery bank to supply energy to this load, to power this load, the battery bank will shut down. You see it draining very fast. It means it's already aging, it's already going. So you need to do something about it. Then another reason number 4, is that your batteries are not fully charged during the day. When your batteries are not fully charged during the day because of cloudy weather, like now we are in a rainy season, there are some days you will not have enough sunshine. You have cloudy days. During those days, you will not, your solar panels will not be able to generate a reasonable amount of energy to power your loads. So at this point, you need to do energy management. You need to manage load management. You need to manage your loads. You know that your solar panels were not, that is why you need to have smart inverters or smart controllers that tells you what your solar panels were able to generate during the day. So by looking at that figure or by looking at that information, you'll be able to know that, oh, my solar panels only generated 1 kilowatt hour or 2 kilowatt hour today. So this is the amount of energy I can use. So you will now regulate your loads. You will now manage your loads so that you see how you can make use of the 1 kilowatt hour or the 2 kilowatt hour, the 2 kilowatt hours that the solar panels were able to generate during the day, so that the system will be able to carry you, will be able to power your load. Then pending when you have enough sunshine, to recharge your battery. At times, it's not as if the batteries are bad or the solar panels are bad, but because you're having cloudy weather, there is the intensity of sun during the day wasn't high, so there's no way the solar panels they give the battery what they receive. So if the sunshine is not, the intensity of sun is not enough, you can't expect the solar panels to produce up to their rated capacity when the irradiance is low. Reason number 5 is that you have batch system design or inverter and charge controller settings. Now, when your system is poorly designed, you know, the loads, you don't know your total daily energy consumption, you don't know the total power rating of your loads that you're consuming every day. Without this information, you will not be able to size your battery bank, you will not be able to size your solar panels. You will also not be able to size your solar charge controller or your inverter. So when your system is poorly designed, there's no way that system will be able to power your load. Most times you will undersize the system. Why? Because you don't have accurate information to use in sizing the system. Now, if you want to know how to size the various components of a solar power system, I have a PDF that a handbook on solar system sizing that will guide you using a NEC requirements, you know, that will properly guide you on sizing the various components of a solar power system. So if you need it, the link is in the comment, so you can get the PDF, and it's going to guide you on how to choose your size of cable, your breakers from the solar panel to the charge controller, from the charge controller to your battery, from your battery to your inverter, from your inverter to your loads. All these things, you need to properly size them so that your system will be able to, you know, sustain you throughout the day. Mostly when you're using the system at night, when the sun is not available. Most people are not feeling it. Most of those persons who are using solar only during the day, you can't feel it, the effect of your battery bank, because your solar panels are there. So during the day, everything you're using is from the solar panels. Mostly when you're using a hybrid inverter, it properly manages what comes from the sun to, you know, power your loads. But when it comes to nighttime usage, you need to properly size your battery bank to supply the energy that will be able to power your load during the day. So make sure your system is properly designed, you know, by engaging the services of a professional solar system installer. Now, here are some of the things you can do. Number one is you should reduce unnecessary nighttime usage. There are some loads that you don't need them. Some people, just because they have installed solar, they feel solar is like generator or power from the grid. So they will go and put on, you know, different loads. Mind you, any load you put on, if you switch on your inverter and you turn on any load, that load is taking energy from your battery. So the longer that load is on, you know, the more energy the load is taking from your battery bank. That load is draining your battery. So any load that is unnecessary, that you are not using, put it off. Don't leave that load on, because it will be draining your battery bank. Some appliances are not needed at night. You don't even need those appliances, but because you are seeing the light, you just go and put on those appliances. So you should learn what is called load or energy management. If you're making use of a solar power system, learn how to properly manage your load so that your battery bank will be able to sustain you. Number two, you should monitor your battery health regularly. Always monitor the health of your batteries. If you're using a lithium battery, use a lithium battery that you can, you know, monitor the individual cell voltage. Like if you have 51.2 volts, you know that you have 16 cells connected in series. So you should be able to monitor the voltage of each of those cells to see if your BMS is properly balancing the voltage of these cells. If your BMS, that is your battery management system, is working. So there are batteries that can tell you the individual performance of the cells. They will tell you the voltage, they will tell you the cell temperature. So you can know the difference. You can see the difference between cell 1 and cell 2, or cell 1 and cell 16. So this will help you to know if your battery is functioning properly. If you're using lead acid battery, you should always maintain the battery. If you're using what's it called, flooded battery, you check the distilled water level. If you need to top it, you do it. Routine maintenance. You clean the terminals of your battery. You check the terminals if they are properly tight. If whether they are loose or not. If they are loose, you properly tie them. Then you check your cables if they are still okay. So you need to carry out routine maintenance on your system to make sure that the health of your battery is okay. If you have lead acid batteries and they are connected in series, you have 4 connected in series or 2 connected in series, you should always make sure, either series or in parallel, you should always make sure that their voltage, they have balanced voltage. If each of the battery, all of them, their voltage are at the same level. Because if you have 4 batteries, you have battery 1, 2, 3, 4, and these batteries are connected in series, and each of them is, let's say, if they are fully charged, you have 12. Some at times they will be reading 13.0, 13.0, 13.0. But this last battery is reading 11.8. It means there's something wrong with this battery. It is either you charge it separately with a 12-volt charger, you remove it and charge it to make sure its voltage is the same with this other voltage. So if after charging it and the battery is still draining to this voltage, you should know that the battery is bad and you need to either replace this battery. If all of them, you need to replace one of these batteries. But if you're replacing a battery in a battery bank, all of them should be of the same characteristics. They should have the same parameters. When you're connecting batteries in a battery bank, all of them should be of the same age and they should have the same parameters so that they will function very well. So if this one is 11.8 and you connect your inverter to this system or even your charge controller, there will be sensing. If you multiply this 13.0 by 4, it's supposed to give you 50 something. But because of this one, the voltage will drop. So the inverter will be reading this less voltage. This one will be dragging down the voltage of this other battery. And before you know it, your battery bank will be shutting down. At times, it's not as if all the batteries in this battery bank are bad. It may just be only one battery that is bad. So you should check the health of your battery, the state of health of your battery to see if they are still okay. Then you should make sure that your solar panels are getting enough sun during the day. They should be installed in a place that is open, that is receiving enough sun from sunrise to sunset, so that the solar panels will be able to harness enough energy during the day to charge your battery to 100% state of charge. Then you can upgrade your battery bank if needed. If you know that your battery bank cannot sustain your loads at night, then you need to upgrade your battery bank. You need to add additional batteries so that they will be able to sustain your load. But when you are adding batteries, you should know that you also need to increase your solar panels so that they will be able to efficiently charge the battery bank. Then the next one, you should get a professional to recheck your inverter settings and system design. Most times, it's not as if your solar panels are bad or your battery bank is bad, but your settings on the charge controller or the inverter, if they are not properly done, the system will not function well. Like the inverter, we have the low voltage disconnect and we also have the high voltage disconnect. So you need to properly set these things. There was one somebody did a charge controller, a 48, it is a 24 volt system, but he did not properly impute the settings on the charge controller to 24 volts. So the charge controller was reading the battery bank as 12 volts. So the charging current, there were enough panels on the roof, but the charging current was about 12 amps. And the 12 amps was unable to properly charge those batteries. And the charge controller was sensing the voltage as a 12 volts, whereas it is a 24 volts. So I have to change the settings to 24 volts and also increase the charging current based on the C rate, the charging rate of the batteries, because they are lead acid batteries. And the system picked up and it's performing very well. So most times, look at the settings of the charge controller. You have the manual. There's a manual. The inverter comes with a manual, the charge controller comes with a manual. So look at the settings on the manual of the device so that you be able to properly impute those settings to correspond with the charging and discharging recommendations of the battery. So do you have a solar system that always fail at night? Please share your experience in the comment section. And also, please let me know where you are watching from. If you need the PDF, the link is in the description. There's also a WhatsApp number that you can contact me to get the PDF on how to properly size your solar power system. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.
Smartwatches are supposed to help us train smarter, but just how accurate are they when it comes to real-world tracking?
Today, we're putting the Huawei Watch GT6 Pro in the 46mm variant to the test. Not only does it promise a 21-day battery life, lab-grade GNSS accuracy, and advanced sports features, it's also positioned as a fashionable timepiece built with titanium and sapphire glass. So in today's video, we'll be comparing it directly to the Apple Watch Ultra 2 and see how it stacks up even against Apple's newest Ultra 3. Spoilers, it's the only fashionable smartwatch with a 21-day battery life and all-around sports and health management in 2025. Let's get into it. First up is design. The Huawei Watch GT6 Pro strikes a rare balance. Thinner and lighter than the Apple Watch Ultra 2, but crafted from aerospace-grade titanium alloy, sapphire glass, and nanocrystal ceramics. But Huawei goes further with 3 times the protection. A full-body nanofilm and core components coating that makes it wear-resistant, corrosion-resistant, and scratch-proof. Its 3000 nit AMOLED display outshines both the Ultra 2 and Ultra 3 for that matter, which are rated at 2000 nits, making it easier to read in bright outdoor conditions. It also carries 5 ATM plus IP68 plus IP.
Binugbog ng back-to-back shifts? Babawi ka sa tibay with Bear Brand Sterilized.
Hello everyone. Greetings to you. It's welcome to my live broadcast. Thanks for joining. Please let me know where you are watching from. Or if you're in Nigeria, let me know the state you are watching from. Please like, share this live video. Like I said earlier, it's been long. I welcome you all once again to this live broadcast. Thanks for joining my live. So, there are a few things I want to talk about before I
This is what we have been working for.
反观兄弟。
Sorry.
What?
Let's go, let's go. Let's throw the flash out. Throwing fire. I'm throwing smoke. Smoke.
Last two here.
Bomb has been planted.
2个。
They so much as touch our hair, they will all die quickly. Throwing a flashbang. Flashbang. Decoy. Grenade out.
打地最后一个。
走了走了走了。
打包。
I'm throwing a flashbang. Planting. Bomb has been planted. Grenade. Terrorists. Justice will be ours. must win.
工地，工地。
meow.
Activating the bomb. Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
Astolfo. Meow, meow, meow.
Decoys out. Flashbang. Throwing a flashbang. Smoke. Smoke. Planting. Bomb has been planted. Throwing fire.
Other people.
Grenade. Terrorists win.
Pretty expensive. Shh, go with them, purple, go with them, purple.
Counter-terrorists win.
Meow meow.
Now is the time. Throwing a decoy. I'm throwing smoke. Activating the bomb. Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win. We will stop your little scout. Let's go, my brother. Decoys out. I'm throwing fire. Flashbang. Smoke.
Behind.
Counter-terrorists win. Nice.
No, shouldn't have, but cute. Because I'm gonna be sniping.
Smoke. Deploying flashbang.
P.
Incendiary out. Throwing grenade. Counter-terrorists win. There you go.
Meow meow meow. 2 more win, guys. 2 more wins.
Let's go. Decoys out. Smoke. Throwing flashbang. Fire in the hole. Throwing a grenade. Grenade out. Counter-terrorists win. Excellent. Go, go, go. Throwing fire. Throwing smoke. Grenade. Bomb has been planted. Flashbang. Incendiary. Deploying flashbang. Grenade out. Using.
Sorry. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay, YouTube, I'm gonna go now. Bye bye. Just looking at things and think about it and yeah, not be impulsive. Just gonna get some more information and yeah, bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you.